Hey everyone, welcome to the Your Money Live podcast, episode 250. Sorry for the late recording. We are recording in a different location. We're doing some different things here this week. I'm on vacation. So the audio may be different, the video may be different, but we still got it in as normal. So thank you for joining the episode 250. Before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, 5-star rate and review this podcast like we do every week, because we do this every week. Even when I'm trying to enjoy myself, I still make sure to get this podcast out to you all because I hope you're enjoying the information. We do have some stuff to go over this week. Let's get into it. First and foremost, let's talk about the market and what's been going on in the market. It's been kind of interesting. First and foremost, we've seen a little bit, it's outside of today, a little bit more of a bullish run in the market. There is a stall today. There's some Fed information coming out later. There is some earnings still popping out. Disney had earnings. We'll talk about that in a little bit. They had earnings that the market seemed to like. PPI, excluding that's the producer price index, excluding food and energy, ran faster than forecasted. The October consumer price index came in as expected on Wednesday, but nevertheless signaled the Federal Reserve's fight against inflation is yet to be won. So again, inflation is one of the mandates that the Fed is fighting against, and the rise, the speed, increase of inflation is one of those things. So that's still up to be seen. Oppenheimer increased its price target on Nvidia. Nvidia has their quarter report, the third quarter report on November 20th. So that's another thing to look out for. Nvidia is a stock that's performed really, really well for the last couple of years. So that's the big thing is you're really seeing, are we entering a bull market run? Which again, I'll have thoughts on that in the roundtable. If we are entering a bull market run, like we haven't seen, like that we've seen in the past, if we cycled back into one, because people haven't been talking about stuff, people haven't been talking about stocks, people haven't been talking about a lot of things for a while, but they will start soon, I believe. Before we even get into that, and let's actually take a look at the chart, because we always take a look at our chart. It looks like, again, the past month up a little bit. Hey, year to date, a really strong year to date for the S&P 500. If we're getting almost 30% so far year to date, it's 26% to be more precise, right? That's pretty strong. That's not a typical year, so people should be expecting that. But people have really gotten accustomed and babied into really strong returns because really, if you just start investing the last 5 years, you've seen one period of down, which is 2022, but you've seen pretty much crazy returns over every other year, which again is not typical. You do see most of the market green, but it's not usually this green, right? Like this has been a good time for investors, for people that own a lot of assets. So that's a good thing. Let's jump into Disney. Again, Disney, their streaming business seemed to be really, really good last quarter. They revealed that their direct-to-consumer business pulled in a 321 million profit. So that's the stark contrast to last year. The direct-to-consumer business is usually their Disney Plus, their ESPN, all those things that are direct-to-consumer. That was a stark contrast to the 380 million they lost a year earlier at the same time this quarter. Theme parks and linear TV proved much tougher, I should say. Income from TV, Disney's TV networks fell 38%. That's not good for a guy like Stephen A. Smith, who's looking to renew his contract to get roughly 20 to 27 million a year. He's going to be asking for that. Disney's going to be looking like, look, our TV network is down 38%, right? And they're going to give him 20 million. They just gave Pat McAfee, it was like 10 to 15 million a year for Pat McAfee as well. So all these things are taken into account for businesses that they're deciding because they're looking at their different models and seeing what's drawing income in and what's not. I don't think it's going to affect his contract. His show's actually been number one for like 12 years, so he's going to get his money. But it's interesting to know what's happening with Disney. Direct to consumer is starting to do well, and the other lines of businesses, theme parks, and those sort of things. TV linear is starting to struggle. So, but the market liked it because the market likes direct to consumer. It's higher margin. It does cost money to buy and license and put stuff on, but generally speaking, the consumers are stickier if they're paying a monthly subscription. That's something that the market likes. So the market liked what they did because it was a profit on the direct to consumer. On another note, AMD just announced that they're going to lose news. They're going to let go of 1,000 workers, about 4% of the workforce. They announced this. It's a shift to resources to compete with NVIDIA. They want to compete with NVIDIA. AMD is trying to compete with NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the market leader, AI chip maker, and they're trying to compete. And so, although they're second to NVIDIA and the production of graphic processing units, they lag far behind, and they're trying to make some adjustments to be more efficient, to get things done, to compete with NVIDIA. And so they're going to do that, which again is unfortunate for some people. I saw this story: NYC shifts broker fees to landlords. So NYC renters have reason to celebrate. The city council has approved a new bill that transfers the responsibility of paying broker fees from tenants to landlords. The bill passed 48 to 42 to 8 vote, achieving veto-proof majority. So unlike most US cities where landlords typically pay the broker fees, they hire renters in New York have been required to pay the hefty fee. So it's funny thing about New York, yeah, everyone knows if you're renting, you'll pay a broker fee. And I guess that's not typical for other places. That's why people are like, oh, it's so expensive to move to New York and all these things because you'll pay a broker fee on top of your deposit, on top of your first month, all these different things, right? And so now they're saying that they're shifting that to the landlords, and that makes sense. The landlords are the ones that usually times hiring these agents that will get you into this apartment. And so why would you, as a consumer, pay the broker fee? It makes actually more than I think about the model, it makes less and less sense. So this is a good move for New York renters. They're approved it, and it looks like it's going to make it easy for a lot of people, especially when they're switching apartments or any sort of those things. So that's a really, really huge move there. Oh, and we're going to talk about crypto in the a little bit in the roundtable, but Bitcoin continues at high all-time highs. Again, we've talked about it considerably. We talked about it more times than others. We talked about it a lot in 2021, 2022, not so much last year. But the premise for me stayed the same. Hold it if you want, buy at lower times, but always hold. When we were even managing crypto for clients because we believe in the long term, I've held all my cryptocurrency and I've always said I would. And now crypto surged to a new all-time high of 90,000, right? Bitcoin, I should say specifically. It's on a bullish run, passed through its past all-time high. It's now on an all-time high above 90,000. Hit that threshold. It's come down a little bit depending on when you're listening to this. But really, that's something that, again, all the people that are proponents and the holders are saying, just keep a little bit of assets in there. You don't have to go crazy. And some people put all their net worth in there. You don't have to. You can just put a little bit, be smart. And that's what we always preached. Have 1 to 5% potentially of investable assets, depending on how your risk aversion is, right? I have, ability to do more. And so some people have a different risk aversion. And so we always preach that. And again, it's up and high. We'll talk about the cycle and what that means, the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin and what this means exactly in here a little bit. Apple's preparing an AI-powered smart home tablet. Interesting. I'd be interested in that. So Apple's preparing an AI-powered smart home tablet as it searches for hardware hits. So I don't know. Would you guys be interested in an AI-powered smart home tablet? I think there have been things like that in the past that none of them have really become mainstream. But these kind of little features that make life a little bit more efficient using AI and using some sort of like home operating system are going to be a lot more of a big play. And I'm curious to see if that's one. I would like that one. I mean, everything Apple puts out is something you actually have to check out because more likely you're either going to really, really love it most of the time and you're going to use it incessantly, or you're going to be like, oh, I don't really want that. Like the glasses, I'm forgetting the name of it. They were, for me, I was like, oh, this looks really cool. Never tried it, never bought one. Kind of lost my, juice for that. But everything else that you use Apple wise, you just use the phone, the watch, everything, right? The ear pods, everything. So we'll see. TikTok unbanned? Is TikTok unbanned? So Trump's expected to try mixing the TikTok ban as the tokenomics roller coaster screws on. So apparently he's looking to unban TikTok. That would make sense. He's on TikTok, so I would assume he wouldn't want to ban that platform. Live Nation drums up an earnings beat as superfans drive concert demand. So Live Nation, big concert, live event company. They've done really well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm actually going to look LYV. Let's see the ticker. I actually haven't followed them much, but I know this is a company that had a really big post-pandemic boom. And yeah, this company's performed well. If you look at it, um, really has performed well. Even the last year, really earnings in September, the stock has been really, really climbing. And again, it's seemingly. Let's look at why. It's seeming that yesterday it's popped. Investor like the sound of TikTok, sound of the Ticketmaster owners' earnings. So they own Ticketmaster. The U.S. largest concert promoter said it sold 144 million tickets this year through October, up 3%, from last year. So on-site spending per fan, food, merch, it also rose. So they're just really getting people to spend. That's what the majority of this. People are becoming super fans. They already have, but if you look at it now, people are really becoming super, super fans of whatever they're fans of. It's Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Usher. We went to an Usher concert. I don't know if that was put on by Live Nation. We loved it. It was a great concert. Me and the wife actually had a great, great time. One of my favorite artists. Love to see him in person. So they're saying that people are just going to these concerts. They're having a good time and they're spending. They're becoming super fans of it, and it's driving their earnings up higher and higher. So interesting company to keep our eyes on. Um, so let's talk more about the roundtable this year. I think this week, I think the main thing about the roundtable is pretty much one, you're going to see a cycle now of potentially a bullish cycle, which means there's gonna be people caught in a lot of traps again. So be mindful of the stuff that happened last year or last cycle and take those lessons into this one, right? There'll be a potential green and bullish wave, for the next 6 to 7 months. There'll be scams, there'll be different things, but there'll be things you see on TV that you're like, oh, everyone talking about buying, you'll buy it and they'll go down. Again, the same stuff we talked about last time that you didn't listen to potentially last time, listen to this time. Be diligent, be careful. You should already have been investing, you should already been smart, you should already been saving. But there will be opportunities again, because I think they're getting to a bullish wave, again, and for the next 6 to 12 months, we'll see this bullish wave, right? And that potential, that's what we're anticipating. It means for people invested, stay invested. If you have cash in silence, you probably should be putting it to work because again, that's what we're anticipating over this next 6 to 8 month time frame. Again, it's being smarts too. Like you see them on TV, that's not just what you want to just invest just because you saw someone talk about it, right? It's not going to just pan out for you the way it panned out for someone else. There's different buying times, there's different valuations, there's different understanding of what's going on. Usually by the time you hear about it, it's through some mass forum, mass media forum, whether it's online, TV, whatever, it's probably too late to do it, right? That's like the parabolic move. It's gonna start to drop at that point, right? Like so understanding this in this new wave of you'll see a lot of stuff come back to the forefront that you saw during the crazy crypto wave. Even crypto is coming back and all these different altcoins, all these different things will start to come back. NFTs, you'll see people start talking about it more and more. The search terms for crypto were so dead for the last year or two, are starting to slowly peak back up. People are starting to search. It's starting to, your grandma's going to start talking about it soon, your taxi driver, all those things. But again, remember what happened last time. Either be in early or don't be in at all. Either just have a plan to continue to buy and hold for a longer term, and or don't try to trade, different things on different things you heard. Just probably won't work out the best as it didn't last time. I heard a lot of those stories. So that's something to note in this new cycle we're seeing again. It's a new cycle. This cycle happens, especially in crypto, every 4 years is a cycle of boom, trough, level out, and then come back up again. So be mindful of it. Take stock, and just again do the best, and for you and your family in those times. Again, I want to get this out for us. Again, different format, different audio, different video, probably. But again, I always do this. Want to make sure, apologize for me being late. I'm even on vacation, still getting work done. But again, we'll talk to you guys always, always next week. Share with your family and friends. We'll talk soon.